Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Hello, how are you? Okay.
How are you?
Recording. Fine, fine. It was nice to see you. And I would like to say that we have the same, library.
We're in the same place.
And the same book. We never. Where is Daniela?
Hi, Daniela. How are you?
Daniela, she's
Hi.
hello, Daniela.
Good to
But
see you.
I never saw you, Daniela. You were just a voice for me. You know that I never saw you. I never saw you.
It's common nowadays. I've only
No,
heard
I saw
many
your
stories, but
picture,
I haven't
so
seen you.
yes. But if I saw you in the street, I wouldn't know who you are. So, first of all, today is going to be a long webinar because and thanks to Mariano, with whom we started to collaborate about 1 year ago. And of course, for me, it's a great thing because Daniela has been, is the student of the year, okay, because she's an outstanding achiever, very high GMAT score, scholarship, 100% success to the program she has applied to. Strangely enough, she has not applied for MBA because she's quite young. So as you know, she got accepted at London Business School with a scholarship, okay, and HEC as well, I believe, and ESSEC as well. So you got scholarship at every school where you have applied to, but of course, she got a better scholarship at LBS, and I understand that at her age, she wants to be in the UK, and she will tell us why. Mariano, you want to say something to Daniela?
Not really. You summarized everything. I just know that she ended up taking the GMAT 2 times. I remember that the first time she did well. However, she was not getting the score she was getting in her simulations. So we just encouraged her to take it again. And I know that her teachers gave her the tips and the strategies that she needed to improve her score. And the second time she did much better. I think you ended up getting a 740, right? Okay, so that's a great score, and congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
I would say that Daniela is, anyways, he has an outstanding intellectual potential. And of course, I wish that I had more students like Daniela first at MBA Center and suddenly in at my university among my students. So she's a very rare student, and she's very talented. She has exceptional talents. By the way, she was preparing the LBS and ESSEC and HEC with two other students. Remember, Daniela, with Sarah and Simon, who all got also LBS, HEC, and ESSEC. They got a scholarship at HEC. That's it, but not at LBS and at ESSEC. And of course, she was even better than them. Okay, so can imagine these guys, they are outstanding. They got LBS, and she was ever better than them, so which is impressive. So she was better than the best. Okay. So, Daniela, can you introduce yourself? And you see that she has many assets that I want to say. So, Daniela, go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'm Daniela. I'm 23 years old. I am from Peru. I studied economics. But while studying economics, I took an interest in finance. That's why I afterwards sought to apply to masters in finance. Now I've had internship experiences in the Central Reserve Bank of Peru and in a national insurance company. Now I work full time at the Central Bank of Peru. And also I volunteer at several organizations regarding women empowerment, betterment of education. And I think that's all. I think that's it. I'm also very much passionate about the topics I've studied. And that's why now I sought to pursue a master in finance. During my undergraduate, I did an exchange program in Europe. And that's why I chose Europe specifically to target my postgraduate studies. And Dr. Robert said, as he said, I got into schools in France and in the UK, and I finally chose the UK because first it gave me a better scholarship, and also because London's still one of the financial centers of the world. I think it concentrates most of the opportunities in the financial industry in Europe. So that's why I chose it.
Alors, yes. So basically, Daniela, will you apply finally to MIT or Columbia? No, you will not apply. Will you apply?
I don't think I will. I'm very happy with the results I've gotten so far, and I think that LBS is it for me.
Okay. Probably, by the way, she will come back in a few years to apply to Harvard, and I'm sure that Harvard will take her. So, but maybe she will not need. Huh? And I'm sure that Daniela, by the way, will have a great future in her country. I hope that she will come back, Daniela, to your country. Of course, you need to spend some time in the UK. It would be stupid to stay at LBS and not stay there. As you know, you're allowed to get a 2-year work visa after LBS. Of course, go there, make money, not just for 2 years. I'm sure that the British will keep you for as long as you want, but at the same time, you're someone who is trying to do a lot for our country, okay? And I'm sure that you can have also a great future as in politics in your country that needs people like you who are basically you have succeeded not with the money of your parents but with your brain, okay? So what do you want to say? So can you tell us more about your background? So according to you, Daniela, usually I'm the one doing the job, but you're going to do the job differently. Why have they taken you, all of them, and why have they decided to give you a scholarship?
Okay, so first of all, as you mentioned, I do have an excellent academic background. I think my grades during my undergraduate studies were very solid. I was not the first of my class, but I was indeed among the top 10% or the top 20% most of the years, and I did graduated in a very high ranking. Also top 10 of my graduating class. Also, I got as you mentioned, I got a really good score in the GMAT. I took it twice because I did feel like I could do better, and I think that at least I do know that the GMAT scores that European schools want are not as high. I mean, most of them I think do accept 680, 700, and I think that's okay. But I did feel I could do better, and I think that also made a difference. I think that helped me differentiate from all of the people that were applying. I also I do have a very also strong extracurricular activities background because I participated in many organizations, both during my undergraduate studies. I was very active in my university. I was part of many student associations, of student magazine, of student representation. And I think that is something universities like because that signals that you are going to be active in their own community too. And they do like students that are going to be active, that are going to get involved, not students that are just going to go study and don't do anything else. They want people that are going to contribute to their community. And also now I do continue my work in other extracurricular activities outside university. So I think that shows a commitment towards bettering the world, towards contributing to the world, to my community. And I think that is something they really liked. And the scholarship I got was a women's merit scholarship, and I think that has both to do with my academic merit regarding my grades, my GMAT, and also my work in organizations regarding women empowerment, because that is something really important for me and that I did highlight it in my application essays and my interviews.
So yes, so basically what is outstanding about Daniela is that, of course, she's a good student with as much international experience that you can have when you are someone from Peru coming from the middle class, from a middle class background. Your parents did not offer you summer camps every. Okay, you made it because you're intelligent, and you have done well. Also, probably, so of course, your academic excellence, the fact that you work for the Bank of Peru as well, which is of course a big plus, a big differentiator, and of course, I agree with you that they also give you a scholarship because of your extracurricular commitment, so your voluntary activities. You see, Mariano, there was so much that it was even difficult in the CV to put them. Okay, she was
I want to highlight something.
and I said, but what do we do with all that? And she was telling me I should take some of them out. Okay, what should I do? I said, no, it's fine. So there were 8. I've never seen that. Usually my students, I say, okay, you have 1. Let's try to find second one. Maybe your best friend is, oh yes, my best friend is working for an animal shelter, whatever. So I say, why not? But in our case, there were so many that we didn't know what to do. There were 8 or 10, or I don't know. So it was super impressive. And of course, for all of you, it's true that if you're a woman, it will be easier. They have a lot of scholarship for women. LBS is a school. So for instance, to give you an idea, LBS is the only European school, as far as I know, for a long time that had a woman, I think it was Julie Tyler, as a dean. So the first dean ever appointed in a top European business school. She was a chief economist for Bill Clinton, and she was a professor from Berkeley, and she was the dean of LBS. So LBS is trying to do a lot for women, and of course, especially from emerging countries as well. Of course, it's obvious that your currency is pretty weak compared to the pound, and they know that if they want to attract people like you, they need also to give them incentive, not just because they want to give you a reward, because they know that it is extremely expensive to complete studies there, and especially that the program that you have is a very intensive program, so you cannot work like sometimes for my MBA students on your 2. As you know, at LBS, you have classes from Monday to Thursday. I don't know if they told you that already, because Friday, Saturday is for executive education. So some try to have like a sort of part-time job on your 2. But the program that you have is super intensive, so it will be impossible to have a part-time job, okay? Or if you have one, you will miss the whole experience. Mariano,
Yes,
what did you
something
do
important is what
for the
Daniela
740?
highlighted
Yeah.
is
Okay, yes, of
her
course.
community
Yeah.
involvement or her participation in maybe in organizations that empower other women. And most universities are looking for that leadership role or involvement in social activities besides your work, and that's not very common in Peru. Very few of my students have some sort of involvement in any community service, which is, for example, very common in the United States and in Europe. So that's an advice to all of you who are here. I see Marcos, Claudia, Vasca, Jonathan, etc. Start volunteering. Do something. Um, Try to get involved in leadership roles. Show the universities that you're more than just a student. Okay, that's key. That's essential. That's
Exactly.
it.
So if at the same time you're as bright as Daniela, it makes a big difference. Okay, but I think she was exactly in line. What have you done? What have you done to get you 740, Daniela? Because of course I remember that when we were working, when we started, you had a 700. No, what was your first initial score when you started? 700.
Yes,
And I
it was
told her like
700.
this, oh, it would be good that you have a better score. So I knew that well, it would be better, but I think they would have accepted her anyway because the profile was strong. Okay. And then she called me one day, say, oh, I have 740, not even an email, because Daniela, she's like this, very simple. You know, some people will say, I'm a geek, you know, I'm the best, etc. Very humble. Oh, by the way, I got a 740, okay? Which is not bad. So what have you done to jump from 700 to 740?
Okay, so I think that the first thing I did was learn from my first experience. Going into the GMAT, I obviously did research, watched some YouTube videos, asked people who had already taken it, and I was maybe ready for the experience, but actually taking it is it's very different. I get really nervous during tests, so I think that also played against me during the first experience. And then for the second experience, I already knew some things I had to change. For example, I had internet trouble during my first experience, so I connected with a cable instead of Wi-Fi. I did it in a low store building, and there was a lot of noise from the street that distracted me, that put me off. So next time I closed the windows, I try to minimize noise. And also I saw that I looked over my scores, and I saw where was the opportunity for improvement. So I saw that, for example, my quantitative score was not as good as the scores I was getting in my simulations. It was actually lower, much lower than the score I was getting in my simulations. So I realized that there was the improvement opportunity. that I should take it. So I started to think about what had I done during the test that I could have done better. And first I realized that I had taken too much time answering some questions, which then led me to not finish the quantitative part as good as well as I could have. So I realized that first I had to work on my speed to solve problems. So I did that. I started doing a lot of exercises and timing myself so I could start like lowering the time I took. And I think that was the first. And I think that that's what I would advise, because some people have asked me what do I advise for taking the GMAT the second time, and I would say it is learning from the mistakes you probably have made, identifying where is the opportunity to improve and trying to work on that. I also for example, I worked on my speed, and the second time around I did finish the math section very well. I wouldn't say that with a lot of time to spare, but I did finish it before the time ended. And also for the verbal part, I saw that the score I got was very in line with the simulations, but I think that I benefited because while studying for the GMAT the second time, I took the TOEFL in between. So while studying for the TOEFL, I think that also benefited my verbal score, because there's a reading part, there's also like writing. So I had to be very wary of the grammar, of grammar rules. And I think that those were the things that really helped me to improve my score.
What is it something quite common, Mariano, that people have to take the test twice? What do you advise to people who have
most of the students
test?
take it twice?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Very few of them take it once and achieve the score they want. And yeah, and usually it's because of the nerves. Since they don't know the exam, they are scared, and you're always afraid. Okay, you're always nervous. Even after taking it, I've taken the real exam around 3 times, and I'm a teacher, but I'm still nervous. But it's normal. What you need to do is learn how to handle your nerves. Just relax, breathe, and know that the exam will not really define anything, or at least you have to believe that, okay? Brainwash yourself and say, oh, this is just another simulation. And now it's interesting that you mentioned that your TOEFL training helped you improve your verbal score. That could be if you become more aware, especially of the grammar part. How are you doing in sentence correction?
I think sentence correction was one of the parts I struggled the most, because there were so many rules that one has to memorize. But I think that with practice, one starts to just see it, or I think that also with the teachers, they helped me develop a strategy. They told me what to look for first, what if I should look for certain noun or certain adjective. And I think that also helped me a lot regarding the strategy part.
Okay, definitely the strategies help. And as you said, when you started practicing for the TOEFL with the reading section and the writing part, especially the writing part, because in the TOEFL you have to write a lot and grammar is very important. So I think that helped you become more aware of the grammar you already knew, or maybe learn some new things about grammar that made a difference during the exam. So most of the students improve by doing something you mentioned that is very important. Analyzing their mistakes, knowing their areas of opportunity. And I think that's the main advice I usually give to students. Don't just do homework. Work on the homework, write down your mistakes, and understand the reason you made those mistakes. Why do people make mistakes? Well, number one reason is because they don't know the theory. Reason number two is because they don't know the strategies. Reason number three is because of their timing. Sometimes timing could be issue number one. And number four is distraction. Some of the students know the theory, they know the strategies, they're really fast, but for some reason they don't read the problem well, they misread the problem, so that's distraction. And then there is reason number five, which is a black box. The students just don't know why, because when they take the exams and when they do simulations, they made mistakes. They bring those mistakes to my class, and we go over them, and suddenly they know everything. They understand everything. They know the rules. So it's just a black box. Okay, but work on your theory. Make sure you know the strategies. And to really learn the strategies, you have to practice a lot. Okay? You have to do a lot of problems so that you really get the steps, okay, the process. And well, to avoid getting distracted, that could be a problem, because I've noticed some of my students had ADD, attention deficit disorder. So they're working on maybe a reading comprehension passage. They're reading the passage, but they're thinking about something else. They're not paying close attention, and they get lost. So you have to work on your concentration, on your focus. And a great way to improve your focus is meditation, for example, practicing your breathing, maybe training some yoga. I've actually prescribed yoga to some students, and they have improved dramatically in a couple of months. Tai Chi, any sport, really, any physical activity will help you enhance your concentration and your focus. And well, that's it.
Yeah, you're pretty right. How many years of preparation do you advise your student, Mariano?
It really depends on the
100
student,
hours,
but
200 hours?
it depends a lot. But most of my students come with some preparation from other academies or other teachers, and they usually arrive disappointed. And since they already have a background and know something, sometimes they may stay with me. They may take around 30 to 50 hours of classes. But those who start from scratch, I notice most of them need around 4 months, dedicating between 15 to 20 hours per week. Okay, so it's actually it's a lot. Let's say around 80 hours per month for around 4 months. That's 320 hours. Okay, so it's a lot of work, and the most important thing is the quality time more than the time itself. Because I know some people who they tell me they study 3 hours, but out of those 3 hours, they probably take advantage of 30 minutes, because the rest is just not quality time.
Because of course, when Mariano says 20 hours per week, it is 20 hours per week really working. Huh? So it's pretty true. So that's why when Mariano says you have to understand a strategy, let's say you have to understand how to apply them, and you have to take them with you, what we call comprendere in Latin, so take with you. And that's something important. So, and that can only come with work. You notice that Daniela or myself are not native speakers, so it is even more difficult because there are, of course, many rules that we don't know about the English language. Daniela, what are your plans post MFA?
Okay, so post my master's, I do wish to, as you mentioned, stay in London for I don't know how many years, but I do wish to look for employment in London. Particularly, I am most interested in, as I've mentioned, asset management. I would like to work for a big asset management company over there, like maybe PIMCO, BlackRock here in Peru. I think that, for example, PIMCO doesn't have an office here in Peru, but I, for example, would like to experience companies like that has exposure to many different types of clients, many different types of portfolios. And eventually, I would like to keep acquiring seniority and maybe become a portfolio manager. And I think that, and well, obviously still working in organizations, maybe remotely in the organizations I work here in Peru, or maybe find new ones over there.
So I'm sure that we can help the Belgian community in the UK. I'm sure that they are pretty active. There's a LATAM club at London Business School,
Yes.
And I'm sure that you can do quite a lot, because of course, you know, we started to work something like a year ago, and I've lot of lot of sympathy for students from Peru. At the same time, we decided to be more active 2 years ago in Spain. So of course, it's basically culturally there are some resemblance. So yes, it's a big thing. So we're going to attack the next one soon. So basically, Daniela, what pieces of advice would you give to someone who is very ambitious like you, wants to study abroad, wants to succeed, and doesn't have wealthy parents, but just a good brain? What would you say?
I would say to I don't know how to say it, like to put in the work, because applying to a master's is well, it's a long process that thankfully I had Dr. Hoover to help me through it. But it is a very long process. It involves studying for the GMAT, maybe TOEFL, writing essays, preparing for interview. So I would say to be resilient, be consistent. There are some times that you might think that, oh, the GMAT is too much. The GMAT is too much. I don't think I can do it. Oh, so many essays. But I think that you shouldn't give up. If you have a dream, if you want to do something, you need to be consistent with it, to maybe separate time of your day to work on that, and to just keep going, because I think that in the end it is worth it.
You agree, Mariano? You agree?
Yes, definitely. I mean, the most important thing is your motivation.
Yeah.
So you have to see your goal. You have to see yourself doing what you would love to do, and that gives you the strength to be resilient, consistent, and to put in the work. Yeah, definitely. It's not an easy process. Definitely, it's not easy. You have to invest a lot of time, money, effort, but at the end, it's worth it. Yeah, I don't know any student who's finished an MBA and regrets it. No, the whole process will also prepare you for the MBA. They study for the GMAT, because most people they probably stopped studying many years ago, and when they start reviewing concepts for the GMAT, reviewing their grammar skills, their math skills, all that process is quite important in the MBA. I have many students who, for example, they still call me and they say, "Hey, Mariana, I need to present this presentation. Could you review the grammar for me?" or they tell me, "Does this make sense?" Or sometimes they say, "Oh, I have to read so many reports and books and things." So all the process, for example, practicing your reading comprehension becomes essential. Getting the gist ideas or the main ideas of a long report is your day-to-day in the MBA or a master's. Okay, you have to read a lot, make summaries, analyze, synthesize information, and then present it. Okay, so your practice for the TOEFL will also be very important, or the IELTS, because you need to practice your speaking skills. You will speak in front of people, in front of your group. Now, the writing skills you acquire, especially in the GMAT, we don't focus much on the writing part, but for the TOEFL or the IELTS, you need to write a lot. And you will be writing reports on a daily basis on your master's degree. Then the whole process to write the essays as well is essential, because it really helps you discover what you want, your goals. Okay, for instance, how many of you know what are your short-term goals or mid-term goals or long-term goals? Okay, I know that most people don't know, because I ask this question almost every day to some people, and they have a vague idea of what they want, but they don't know the details. And when you write your application essays, you need to know as many details as possible about your future. Okay, so sitting down and brainstorming about what you really want in life, that's going to help you discover more about who you are.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So basically, so we're going to move to the other webinar, but you know, the reason why every month we have a student of the month is not just to brag or whatever, but I also want to show to students that it is possible. Okay. Of course, Daniela, she's outstanding, but if I told her when we started, look, you get HEC, LBS, and ESSEC with a scholarship, I would have told her that you'll have had HEC, ESSEC, LBS. Okay. Scholarship, no. Probably no, because, you know, okay, because I'm not that familiar with scholarships. And of course, it's difficult to guess who will get one, will not get one. But what I want to show you is that, of course, Daniela, she's outstanding. You may not get LBS, but you may get SAD, you may get AMD, you may get the University of Duke, etc. But if we work together, and if I give you a list of schools, it's because I know that you will get them, okay? I'm not a masochist, I'm not a sadistic person, okay? I don't want people to work for nothing, so trust me, if we get, okay. So many times, for instance, I have students who tell me, yeah, you know, Daniela made it. Oh, but Daniela, she's great, she's bright, but she's a human being like you, okay? She was in your shoes 1 year ago. And 1 year ago, Daniela, you were preparing for the GMAT, you had not even passed the GMAT at that time, okay? And you never know, last Christmas, you never know that the 2021 Christmas will be a scholarship at LBS. So she made it, okay? She tried hard, okay? And now she's rewarded for that. You agree, Mariano? Okay? So let's go to the other room, okay? Because we have another webinar. Of course, Daniela, you're welcome as well to join. Because
thank you, Daniela, for joining us and for giving
but she's
such
coming to
valuable
the other room
information.
as well. She will be with the other room as well. And what I want to show, and you can see from my accent that I'm French, is that there's room for masters from MBAs. I know that US is a big thing for you, okay, from Peru, but Europe is not bad as well, especially that many of you have European roots, which makes that it will be much easier for you to stay. And believe me, life in Europe is much, 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 much better than life in the US. No comparison, okay? And you will find out in terms of healthcare,
I agree
of
that
education,
you enjoy more
of
in Europe,
violence, of culture, there's everything in Europe, okay? Everything.
But you make more money in the US, so you have to find the balance, okay? Money or enjoyment of life, okay?
Yeah, but at the same time, once Daniela, okay, imagine that she make $1 million, she will have to send her kids to school.
In the UK, you'll have
money,
similar
healthcare.
salaries to the US.
Yeah, it's very similar. And of course,
but London is expensive. Okay, so
yeah, London is expensive. But in terms of quality of life, you know, we have
I'll see you soon.
So see you in the other room. Huh? See you in the other room now, Daniela.
Okay.
See you. Bye-bye.
I'll see you soon.